Bienvenidos, ¿cómo están? A otra edición más de esta segunda temporada de CCC Noticias en vivo desde Martínez en los estudios de Contra Costa Public Access TV. Hoy día tenemos un programa bastante interesante. Hoy día les voy a presentar un recurso muy interesante para los adultos mayores de Contra Costa County, que es el Contra Costa Senior Legal Services. Este servicio presta protección legal a las personas de la tercera edad y hablaremos con Leonor Soto, que es la que se encarga de la parte de Outreach Intake Specialist. Otro punto importante para este programa y para la comunidad siempre ha sido la educación. La educación es un tema sumamente vital y una prioridad para nuestro condado. Y es por eso también que estaremos hablando con Fernando Sandoval, un apasionado defensor de la excelencia educativa y que representa el Distrito 5 de los colegios comunitarios de Contra Costa. Además tenemos nuestro segmento Cultura y Líderes. En ese segmento nosotros queremos darles las herramientas a nuestros líderes hispanos para que puedan seguir saliendo adelante, para que se desarrollen. Yo tengo un tema muy importante que nos habían hablado ya anteriormente, no solamente en el programa, sino a través de la Cámara de Comercio, que era el desarrollo de habilidades de negocios en líderes hispanos, ¿no? Donde destacaremos la importancia de las habilidades de negociación, ¿no? Para los líderes hispanos en la comunidad y en el ámbito empresarial. ¿Por qué es tan importante la negociación? Porque es la manera como nosotros le ponemos valor a lo que hacemos y hay que tener herramientas y estrategias para poder hacerlo. Y obviamente vamos a tener también nuestro segmento de cultura de negocios, donde hablaremos acerca del marketing digital para negocios hispanos y la importancia de esta herramienta para el crecimiento y visibilidad en nuestros negocios. Así que el día de hoy un programa cargado de mucha información. Por favor, presten atención a lo que vamos a estar hablando y además también es importante que compartan esta información con quien la necesite. Acuérdense también que el programa pasado hablamos acerca de las votaciones. Ya se viene el tiempo de votar. Ustedes, si pueden votar, han recibido este sobrecito y pues tienen que lucir orgullosamente, ¿no? Acá su PIN, I voted, right? ¿Por qué? Porque tenemos que ser parte de la solución y no del problema. Y siendo parte de la solución es eligiendo a nuestros representantes, pero eligiendo concienzudamente. Así es que es importante que ustedes también dentro de este material viene pues quiénes son los candidatos y pueden hacer también el research, ¿no? Pueden ustedes hacer la investigación de quién es el candidato apropiado para ustedes. Así que de esta manera empezamos con CCC Noticias. Bueno, y estamos en esta parte, vamos a estar hablando sobre el invaluable trabajo que hace Contra Costa Senior Legal Service, una organización dedicada a proveer servicios legales gratuitos a mayores de 60 años en el condado de Contra Costa. Hoy nos sumergimos en cómo esta organización ha estado protegiendo los derechos de ancianos durante más de 40 años. 40 años, asistiendo en áreas críticas con la preservación de viviendas, prevención de abusos y planificación de actividades. Me encuentro el día de hoy con Leonor Soto, que ella se encarga de la parte Outreach Intake, especially. Leonor, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the work that your organization is doing in our county. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Douglas, and thank you for having us here.
How are you today? How's everything going?
I'm fine. I'm excited about life. I'm excited about Contra Costa Senior Legal Services, and excited about being here because this is an opportunity to network with yourself and hopefully other organizations in the community to serve seniors.
Okay. Can you tell us more about the history of the Contra Costa Legal Services and its mission supporting the elderly community?
Sure. Contra Costa Senior Legal Services has been serving seniors 60 years of age and older in Contra Costa for 48 years. They started out in Richmond in 1976, and now we're over in Concord. We have a small staff now, very dedicated staff, and then we have a very dedicated staff of volunteers, pro bono volunteers, and some intake volunteers, some volunteers that do other work for us.
So what are some of the main legal issues that the organization helps senior citizens to address?
We help with housing issues such as evictions and habitability issues, meaning repairs and things that tenant landlord issues. And we also help with Social Security issues such as Social Security benefits issues. We do restraining orders and work with elder abuse, financial, emotional elder abuse. We help with, I'm sorry, excuse me.
No, it's okay. Let me just say it also in Spanish, ¿no? Le preguntaba a Leonor, pues, cuáles son algunos de los problemas legales que más que ellos ven cada día, ¿no? Y era mucho abuso del anciano mayor, era mucho problemas de evicción y otro tipo de servicios, pues, que están que tienen, ¿no? Constantemente. Now, Matthew is here also, the executive director, and we were talking about the importance of put this information out there, right? And the needs of health to how to create this information across to so many people that actually need it. How are you guys doing with that?
Well, we're working very hard at it because one of the basic and the most important things about our mission is to protect the rights of seniors, especially those that are incapacitated and those that are low income. So we're working at that we have fairs and we go to train other service providers that serve senior citizens. We have clinics. We have 12 monthly pro bono clinics for wills and advanced healthcare directed durable power of attorney. So there, the consulting attorneys answer other questions for seniors, and we're just constantly doing outreach, networking with other organizations that serve seniors in the community.
And also, providing real information, right? So, por ejemplo, hay información como esta, que es cómo evitar las estafas, ¿no? Cómo evitar las estafas de inmigración y obtener ayuda real. So, what I was saying is that you also provide information, vital information that how avoid scams, right, with immigrations.
Exactly.
And how to really help how to obtain real help.
Exactly. And we've been getting information. We've been collecting resources. That's one of the things that we do. Our attorneys are amazing in their work with supporting seniors. And then the other thing that we do is that when we cannot help with a particular issue with the senior, we do our utmost best to refer them to another service that can help them.
Okay. So again, this is a service so vitally important here in our community. Can you share a success story of a particular case where, the organization made a significant impact on an individual life?
We had a senior in Walnut Creek, for instance, that didn't have heat for 2 years. And that's one of the things that we call the habitability issue. So the attorney worked with that senior to connect with the landlord, and let him know that, hey, the senior has a legal right to have this done. And it finally got done. And so these are the kinds of things that our attorneys do. They're amazing. Sometimes there's been seniors that they don't know their rights, the housing laws, and they don't know their rights, and they're on the verge of being evicted for something that is not actually legal.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the thing that the attorneys work with, and there's been many cases where the attorneys have kept seniors in their homes.
You mentioned something that really resonated to me, which is they have rights, but they don't know. ¿No?
Exactly.
Lo que le digo a Leonor es que ella mencionó algo muy importante, que es que las personas en Contra Costa, los ancianos, tienen derechos y ellos muchas veces no saben. Contaba la historia de una persona que realmente pues estaba teniendo problemas en la casa donde estaba viviendo y no sabía que podía tener una ayuda necesaria y que sus abogados hicieron o pudieron hacer que esta persona pues tenga la ayuda que se necesitaba, y que además entendiera que pues sí, o sea, hay cosas ilegales, evicciones ilegales que no se pueden hacer. Sin embargo, pues muchas veces por falta de información y por miedo, right?
Yeah,
Fear plays a big role.
Exactly.
No se actúa y ellos terminan perdiendo, ¿no? Yeah, this is something that like I've been thinking a lot lately in terms of resources available in Contra Costa, and in how we provide, not how we provide, how we make sure people know about it, right?
Exactly.
We're doing what we can with the show, with the Chamber of Commerce, but what else would you need? So what would be the perfect scenario for your organization to get across your important the important issues that you're facing every day?
Yeah, so we're, it's a matter of capacity. We would welcome more volunteers that have a passion for serving people, serving seniors, and it's a matter of capacity. There's different things, funding.
Mm-hmm.
There is networking. We love to have partners who are passionate about serving seniors and serving the community network with us.
Mm-hmm.
And we are on our way. We're venturing. We connected with the Federal Trade Commission,
Mm-hmm.
and there's other programs in the community that we're collecting information to disseminate to seniors. And We have some great workshops. A couple of the attorneys do great workshops on scams.
Mhm,
We have clinics in not only in the senior centers around Contra Costa, but we also have clinics in the senior housing
mhm,
establishments in Contra Costa. So being invited to do workshops and clinics is
mhm.
one of the things. And then we also would like for folks to just, we like to talk to people who are taking care of seniors,
Mm,
grandchildren,
mhm,
and,
mhm.
you know,
Now, what about people that wants to volunteer? Are there voluntary opportunities or people that wants to, help somehow with the organization?
there are volunteer opportunities. We
Mhm,
just ask that you get in touch with the office manager,
mhm.
the
And we
office.
can see here on the screen, we can see that the website is www.ccsls.org o www.ccsls.org. Y lo que le estaba preguntando es que opciones de voluntariado, ¿no? También si estás cuidando a un adulto mayor, ¿no? Esta es una organización que realmente provee información y recursos muy importantes porque a esa edad uno se hace mucho más vulnerable. So we're talking vulnerable communities, right? We're
Yes.
talking about children and we're talking about seniors, right?
Yeah.
And this is the age where they need the most support and guidance to navigate whatever is available for them.
Exactly. Exactly. And right now we have translators.
Mhm.
So we have the capacity to work with translators. It would be wonderful to have a few more volunteers that
Of
are
course.
passionate about seniors who speak Spanish
Yeah.
and other languages. We are working on um, Chinese and
Mhm.
Vietnamese. We're just trying to include.
Lo que me dice Leonor es que sí hay oportunidades y una de las cosas más importantes que se necesitan es traductores, ¿no? Que puedan ayudar digamos, a navegar a los ancianos a que puedan tener la información necesaria, ¿no? En este caso, muchas veces, sometimes you don't need if you're going to volunteer, as long as you can communicate, fluently, you can get across the message, you can help, right?
That's right.
Everybody can
That's
help.
right. That's right. And one of the stories that I have, I'll briefly say about Contra Costa Senior Legal Services, is how I walked through the door.
Mhm,
I was looking for a job and I faced some discrimination, ageism,
mhm.
and it was difficult for me. Um, I walked through the doors of Contra Costa Senior Legal Services and I said, "Look, I have this to offer, um, but I'm a senior and I've faced some difficulties recently, and they took me for what I had to offer,
Mhm,
not for my age, and they
mhm,
embraced me and they helped me with the work that I needed to learn, and they embellished my capabilities.
mhm.
They really are very passionate about the senior community, and I'm a product of that.
I love what you said. Ella estaba diciendo de que ella es una prueba viviente del trabajo que hace su organización. Ella fue a la organización, estaba buscando trabajo, había pues sufrido discriminación por la edad y pues simplemente quería contribuir y salir adelante y se le dio la oportunidad pues de mostrar sus habilidades y lo está haciendo y pues es una muestra de que en realidad no importa la edad, todos podemos contribuir a nuestras comunidades y también hacer una carrera. Leonor, this is amazing. This is something that I really, I really appreciate you coming and sharing your history and sharing your organizations and the wonderful work that you guys are doing. Please, this is your home. If you have any new program, anything that we can help, come with us, count on us to promote, to really get your message across and see how can we help to get this information and these resources to the people that need it the most. And it's available for everybody. So regardless your language, no importa qué lenguaje hablas, no importa where you're coming from, no importa tu estado legal, no importa, en realidad esta organización está acá para ayudarte. This organization is here to help you. Leonor, anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, we do specialize in senior law, and so there are things that we don't do.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that we don't do, we really do our best to refer people. We are doing our best to even lobby the local politicians to get more help into the community. And our basic goal is to make sure that the seniors, no matter who they are, do not become invisible. We value seniors, and they should be valued.
I love that. No importa para el adulto mayor quien sea, no se convierte en alguien invisible. Don't become invisible. I love that. I love to close with that. Leonora, again, thank you so much
Thank you.
for being here. I applaud your role, what you're doing. Thank you so much, Matthew, for the work that you are doing. And again, feel free to let us know whenever you have someone to come. You have someone to come in Spanish. We can do the interview in Spanish. We speak a little bit of English, so we can do it in English. So, but yeah, thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bueno, qué inspiradora entrevista en realidad. Lo que hemos aprendido el día de hoy con esta organización es algo realmente encomiable, una organización que se encarga de brindarle realmente lo que el adulto mayor se merece, ¿no? Se merece el hecho de que se le pueda dar la asesoría, que se le pueda dar los recursos necesarios, porque ellos ya lo hicieron. Ellos ya contribuyeron, ¿no? Y es momento para que nosotros y organizaciones como esta puedan brindarles el soporte y la ayuda que necesitan para salir adelante. Así es que, pues, muy, muy inspiradora esta entrevista, de verdad. Bueno, en este segmento de Cultura de Líderes, es un segmento en donde exploramos la clave para el desarrollo profesional y personal de los líderes hispanos, ¿no? Hoy nos vamos a enfocar en un aspecto crucial para cualquier líder, que son las habilidades de negociación, ¿no? En un mundo donde las relaciones y acuerdos determinan el éxito, dominar el arte de negociar se convierte en una herramienta indispensable. Vamos a hablar acerca de cómo podemos usar esta capacidad para abrir nuevas puertas y de alguna u otra manera fortalecer nuestra comunidad y nuestro entorno profesional. Y pues acá en esta parte vamos a hablar un poco acerca de lo que son las claves de negociación, ¿no? Y para empezar con todo lo que hacemos, y es algo que tenemos que aprender como comunidad, es tener una preparación exhaustiva, ¿no? ¿A qué me refiero con esto, no? Una preparación exhaustiva es que la negociación comienza mucho antes de sentarse en la mesa. La preparación es la clave, es conocer en detalle el acuerdo, los intereses propios y de las otras partes, y tener claridad sobre lo que se busca lograr y que es fundamental. Prepararse es como trazar un mapa antes de emprender un viaje, asegurándonos de que sabemos hacia dónde vamos y qué queremos descubrir. Esto es sumamente importante, ¿no? ¿Y por qué digo que es importante? Porque muchas veces nosotros pensamos que no necesitamos prepararnos porque ya tenemos el conocimiento del negocio, pero va más allá de eso, ¿no? Porque muchas veces nos enfrentamos, siendo expertos en nuestra materia, nos enfrentamos a tierras que no conocemos o a gente que no conocemos, y tenemos que realmente tener en nuestro arsenal un material listo para poder salir de cada problema. Es decir, siempre es bueno tener un plan B. Ahora, tenemos que entender también las necesidades, ¿no? comprender lo que realmente valoran las otras partes, pueden cambiar completamente el curso de la negociación. No solo se trata de lo que nosotros queremos, sino de encontrar un terreno común donde todos ganen. Es como un baile, ¿no? En donde cada uno cuenta la armonía y depende de todos los bailarines. Entonces, cuando entendemos las necesidades de la otra parte, ¿no? Podemos formular nosotros una estrategia de poder proveerles lo que ellos necesitan. Muchas veces los negocios y los líderes cometemos el error de pensar de que nosotros tenemos las soluciones y que nosotros tenemos las respuestas a las necesidades de los otros. Y muchas veces es mentira. Si nosotros conocemos lo que los otros quieren hacer, lo que los otros buscan, las necesidades de la otra parte, les aseguro al 100% que van a poder crear un producto o van a poder crear una estrategia que los va a ayudar a salir adelante. Ahora vamos a hablar de la comunicación efectiva. Y esta es una parte sumamente importante. La capacidad de escuchar activamente y expresar nuestros puntos de vista de manera clara y persuasiva es esencial. La negociación es un intercambio, no una batalla. Se trata de construir puentes y no muros. ¿Y a qué me refiero con esto, no? Mucha gente dice, bueno, yo sé comunicar y yo escucho, pero escuchas activamente, ¿no? Muchas veces escuchamos de acuerdo a lo que, y dentro de ese mensaje nosotros filtramos lo que nos conviene, pero no estamos realmente prestando el 100% de la atención a la persona que nos está hablando y que nos está comunicando sus necesidades y que de repente en ese mensaje nos puede dar algún tipo de clave para que nosotros podamos mejorar la negociación, mejorar el producto, mejorar el servicio, mejorar la propuesta. Entonces, es muy importante que la comunicación efectiva empiece no de mi punto de vista diciendo lo que yo creo, sino que empiece desde el punto de vista de la otra persona, es decir, empiece desde la escucha, ¿no? Escuchando atentamente, tomando notas y entendiendo la necesidad de esa persona es cuando yo voy a estar en una situación de ventaja, si lo ven de una manera, porque voy a tener otra vez una opción de tener plan B. Ahora, hablamos de comunicación, hablamos también de entender necesidades, hablamos de preparación exhaustiva, pero también tenemos que tener objetivos claros y tenemos que tener flexibilidad, ¿no? Tener metas definidas nos da dirección, pero la flexibilidad nos permite navegar los imprevistos. Es el equilibrio entre saber lo que queremos y estar abiertos a diferentes maneras de conseguirlo. ¿A qué me refiero con esto? Es decir, nosotros, otra vez, venimos con una idea, venimos con una estrategia en medio de la reunión, ¿no? De negociación. Nos damos cuenta que todo lo que preparamos no va a funcionar. Entonces, ¿qué hacemos? Si nos ponemos en la forma reactiva, es decir, respondemos al impulso del no sé qué va a pasar, entonces lo más probable es que perdamos la oportunidad de negocio. Pero si somos flexibles y entendemos otra vez las necesidades y con eso de repente no tengamos una respuesta en ese momento, podemos decir, ok, déjame verlo, déjame estudiarlo, voy a ser flexible, encontrémonos en un punto medio y de ahí lleguemos a una solución o a una idea. Es muy importante no cerrar puertas cuando hace una negociación. Inclusive, si es que ese negocio no se da en ese momento, quizás el negocio se ve después. Entonces es importante que nosotros digamos, no tengo en este momento, no puedo hacerlo, pero acá está mi tarjeta, vamos a ver que de acá, déjame llamarte de acá a 2-3 meses y vemos si las cosas han cambiado para ti y para mí y podemos mejorar la negociación. Ahora, ¿cómo uno se prepara para negociaciones difíciles, ¿no? Y este es el punto en donde muchas veces nosotros le corremos a estos mensajes o estas conversaciones que de alguna otra manera muchas veces son un poco complicadas, ¿no? Principalmente hay que anticipar los desafíos, ¿no? Esto es como un juego de ajedrez. Anticipar los movimientos del adversario puede darnos ventajas. Prepararnos para posibles objeciones nos permite mantener el control de la situación. Ahora, voy a ahondar un poquito más en esto, ¿no? Cuando hablamos de anticipar desafíos, es justamente, todo es una cadencia, ¿no? Que viene de atrás. Si yo me preparé exhaustivamente, si yo escuché realmente, efectivamente, si yo entendí mis necesidades, las necesidades de la otra persona, si yo fui flexible, entonces lo más probable es que yo pueda decirle, ¿sabe qué? Creo que por dónde va y puedo hacer estas 3 cosas para ayudarlo. O puedo hacer esta esta sola estrategia para ayudarlo. Y eso va a hacer que la otra persona pueda pensar que sí, es la persona o la compañía con la que quiero hacer negocio. Ahora, hay que manejar opciones, ¿no? Cada opción es una oportunidad para comprender mejor y acercarnos a un acuerdo. Es importante abordarlas con estrategias, manteniendo siempre el foco en nuestros objetivos. O sea, al final, ¿qué es lo que quiero yo? Quiero vender, quiero establecer una relación, pero tengo que manejar qué opciones puedo yo o tener y qué opciones el cliente me puede dar. Y eso es lo más importante. Hay que mantener una actitud positiva. La actitud con la que enfrentamos las negociaciones puede hacer toda la diferencia. Mantener una perspectiva constructiva nos ayuda a superar los momentos difíciles y encontrar soluciones. No podemos ir a una negociación pensando que vamos a perder. No podemos enfrentarnos a un cliente pensando que no tenemos la calidad de servicio que se necesita, ¿no? Si tenemos dudas en nuestros servicios, si tenemos dudas en lo que vamos a ofrecer, entonces es mejor hacer un reschedule, esperar un poquito, mejorar las cosas que hay que mejorar o, de lo contrario, ser flexibles, ¿no? Entregar o mostrar lo que sí tenemos preparado. Entonces, es muy importante que el positivismo se pueda ver en estas negociaciones. El positivismo y la confianza se refleje en el momento que te estás reuniendo con tu cliente. Ahora, investigación previa y ambiente propicio, ¿no? Conocer a fondo la otra parte y crear un entorno adecuado facilita un diálogo abierto y productivo. La atmósfera correcta puede ser tan importante como los argumentos que presentamos. Es decir, queremos hacer un negocio, queremos vender nuestro servicio. Hablamos, hay que estar preparados, hay que escuchar efectivamente, hay que tener la posibilidad de prepararse, tener opciones, hay que investigar también, pero también hay que estar en un lugar donde la conversación pueda ser propicia, ¿no? Si, por ejemplo, yo estoy ofreciendo un producto de catering, ¿no? De pronto lo debería hacer un día que tengo mi cocina llena de producto que se ve muy bien o sabe muy bien, donde el cliente pueda ver, oh, yo quiero un poco de eso, ¿no? O cual sea el servicio que se esté brindando. Ahora, alcanzar acuerdos beneficiosos, ¿no? Hay que identificar intereses comunes. Cuando uno hace una negociación, y esto es por principio, no se busca el interés propio, se busca el interés común. Encontrar y enfocarse en las que ambas partes comparten es el primer paso hacia soluciones creativas y beneficiosas en el puente hacia el entendimiento. Otra vez, hay que crear el beneficio común. No es solo hecho de que yo voy a ganar dinero con esta negociación, sino yo voy a ganar dinero, pero tú también vas a ganar algo. Y tiene que ser mi prioridad de que mi cliente o la persona con la que estoy negociando gane algo o tenga algún tipo de aspecto positivo al final de todo, ¿no? Y hay que tener soluciones creativas. Yo siempre hablo con mis equipos. Hay que pensar out of the box, hay que pensar fuera de la caja. Siempre es importante que lo que realmente ya está establecido probablemente no funcione. Probablemente uno tiene que ir un paso para atrás y establecer soluciones diferentes, innovación. Todos podemos innovar, no importa nuestro nivel de educación. Nosotros, si tenemos un negocio o somos líderes o queremos tener liderazgo o queremos tener negocios, tenemos que tener la capacidad de innovar y no es complicado. Es simplemente, otra vez, sacarse un poco de las perspectivas que tiene uno en la cabeza y pensar desde afuera. Soluciones, ganar, ganar. Eso es lo que se busca, ¿no? La meta es encontrar acuerdos que todos consideren positivos. Es decir, cuando hago una negociación, mi mayor intención es que tú ganes, que tú seas el que tenga la mayor ganancia, porque así mi compañía va a seguir proveyendo servicios para ti. Creatividad, hay que ser creativo, hay que tener apertura y hay que estar abierto a la colaboración. Acuerdos justos y sostenibles. Un acuerdo verdaderamente exitoso es aquel que se sostiene en el tiempo. La equidad y el respeto mutuo son fundamentales para relaciones duraderas. ¿Qué quieres hacer? ¿Un negocio que dure una vez o un negocio que dure a través del tiempo? Esa es la gran diferencia entre buscar, digamos, el cash ahora o el cash después, ¿no? ¿Cuál es más sostenible, no? Otra vez, tener una transacción o tener varias transacciones, right? La manera de obtener varias transacciones es, otra vez, la mentalidad ganar, ganar. Tú ganas, yo gano. Es más, yo quiero que tú ganes más. Yo quiero que tú saques mayor beneficio. ¿Por qué? Porque así es como me vas a buscar a mí para que te siga ayudando. Y empatía y respeto mucho. Entender, valorar fortalecer. Son, digamos, esa es la perspectiva más importante y es esencial. La empatía solo nos acerca a los acuerdos más justos, sino que también a fortalecer los lazos de todos lados. Entender, valorar y fortalecer son conceptos muy importantes para que como líderes, como dueños de empresa, nosotros podamos entrar a negociaciones exitosas. Esta información, ¿por qué se las traigo? ¿Por qué considero que es importante para ustedes el saber esta información? ¿Por qué? Porque como líderes hispanos, como personas que estamos estamos buscando el éxito en Estados Unidos, tenemos que estar a la vanguardia de la información, ¿no? Nosotros hemos explorado la importancia de desarrollar habilidades de negociación. Estas competencias son necesarias no solamente para el éxito empresarial, sino también para fortalecer y enriquecer nuestra comunidad. Es más, nosotros como líderes debemos establecer acuerdos ganar, no solamente con personas que nos van a comprar, sino con personas de nuestra comunidad, con nuestra familia, con nuestros amigos. Tenemos que establecer el ganar. Yo te ayudo, tú me ayudas. Tú ganas, yo quiero que ganes, porque yo en un momento voy a ganar más. Les cuento una historia que nosotros hicimos con la Cámara de Comercio de Contra Costa. Nosotros en el 2020 decidimos brindarles membresías gratuitas a las personas porque no podían pagar. Estamos en pandemia. Y les dimos membresías gratuitas a los miembros. ¿Qué sucedió? Ellos ganaron, obviamente. La Cámara en ese momento no, pero al siguiente año, miembros vinieron y nos dijeron, ahora ya podemos pagar. Ahora sí podemos pagar y queremos colaborar. Entonces, esa es la mentalidad ganar. Yo les invito a practicar y a profundizar en estas estrategias y a convertirse en líderes que marquen la diferencia, ¿no? Recuerden que negociar es un arte que se perfecciona con la práctica y la dedicación. Y además, juntos, nosotros podemos construir un futuro de oportunidades ilimitadas. Así que espero que esto les haya servido. Venimos con el siguiente bloque. Vamos a estar hablando con Fernando Sandoval acerca de algo que es muy importante en Contra Costa, que es la educación. Bueno, el día de hoy estamos con Fernando Sandoval, un apasionado defensor de la excelencia educativa, la diversidad y la inclusión, quien representa el Distrito 5 de College de Contra Costa, con una historia de superación personal notable, desde aprender inglés por su cuenta, viviendo en un campo de trabajo junto al río de Sacramento, hasta convertirse en un veterano militar que valora profundamente la educación. Fernando ha ocupado posiciones de liderazgo en el ámbito de STEM en empresas reconocidas y ha dedicado su carrera a fomentar la educación y el servicio comunitario, siendo galardonado con el premio César Chávez de Servicio Comunitario Ejemplar en 2020. Fernando, ¿cómo estás? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Muy bien. ¿Y tú?
Muy bien. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's not the first time that we're talking. Right?
That's right.
We have we've been talking a lot lately in terms of education. How can we inspire? How can we help our younger populations to attend college? But most important, to stay in college. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you very much for giving me this time to talk about where we are in Contra Costa College.
Yeah.
Right. In our district, the three colleges that we have. Right, and what's been going on, especially kind of want to report on what's happening, since the pandemic.
Yeah,
since COVID.
And before we start talking about this, can you just talk a little bit what you do? What is your positions, and you were elected, and this is so important because I was just talking about voting, right?
Yeah.
But most importantly, I want to talk about participations, right? If we want to, again, we want to make the change, we need to be part of the change. The only way is just like you are doing, like being vulnerable and say, okay, I'll run.
Right.
Right. So talk to me a little bit about this.
So let me give you a little perspective. I am one of 5 governing board trustees for the college district, okay, that oversees policy, financial oversight, and the quality of education. And, I, by myself, can't do anything. It's all about positive collaboration.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, and building those relationships with your fellow colleagues on the board and working with the chancellor who works for us as we sit down and talk about the strategies of what we want to do in the district. And she will go ahead and execute those strategies that we agreed on with her staff and her faculty.
Yeah.
Right. So coming onto the board, my background, and we've had various people with different backgrounds, was I'm like the poster child of the community college district, right? I lived in a labor camp when I was young. I didn't learn English until I was 6 years old. They didn't have any bilingual education in those days, right? My friends went to Diablo Valley College. Okay. I went to Vietnam. So I'm a veteran as well, right? So I left the community for a while, and I worked in information technology. I'm the grandfather of STEM. I worked at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. I used to be on USS Enterprise. I worked on all the computer systems on that ship, and then I went ahead and worked at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory after I left. Was big into information technology, worked for several companies like General Electric, IBM, Hughes Aircraft Company, right, around the country. And then my career took a different turn where I got into the finance market where I was a consultant for international banking. So I would go work all over the world, Dubai, Africa, Hong Kong, Singapore, Mexico, Africa, to work with banks to tell them what they needed to change with the new rules and regulations, or else those countries will shut them down. So my background, and then working throughout the years in Rotary, Habitat for Humanity, and Kiwanis, okay, allowed me to really understand how to give back. So I've always been giving back, serving. And then I came back here after many years, and my friends picked me to work. And the next thing you knew, there I was running. Right?
We always talk in the Hispanic community that the sí se puede, right? Sometimes the sí se puede is just, I think we don't take it that deeply and seriously sometimes. And I think you did it for sure, right? You are living proof that sí se puede, right? That I didn't speak the language, I didn't have the means to go to college. There was a lot of things that going against you, and yet you were able to accomplish them. And it's not that you're a Superman, right? We're friends. To be honest with you,
I like what he says.
You're not Superman.
Right,
You're a person like me, like everybody else. So which means that if you put your mind into a goal, you can do it. And I think something that I can see from your journey is that you did one thing, and then you jumped to another thing, and then you did the other thing. And as you were going up, you were going bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So what I want to say is that how can we inspire our young Latinos populations that are starting with college to let them know that, you can start with the 2 years, right?
Right.
Let me back up. Finish high school, right? With good grades. Then start with the 2 years. Okay. Then find out ways to get to 4 years.
Right. That's the dream.
Right? Then why not? Why more
not?
year, do masters.
Right.
Why not?
Right.
So why you run for an office? Do something else. So where are we with our Latinos students here in Contra Costa?
Okay, let's talk about that. But I want to expand that a little bit to all of our students that live on the margins, our Black community, our Latino community, those that have a lot of challenges, okay, across the board. And let me tell you, it's kind of interesting. If you look at the master plan for California, they just say, hey, the top 1 or 2% are going to go to the UCs. The next 3% are going to go to the CSUs. And the community colleges, you get everybody else. Okay. So that means that for community colleges, man, we get a diverse set of people in the community. And with that diverse set of people is the diverse challenges that we have. Okay. We're going to have single mothers.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to have, and we talk about equity, and I'll talk about that a little bit. Okay. We're going to have students that are, like we talk about the Latino community. The Latino community is not homogeneous. Okay. Just like any other community that has their own culture is not homogeneous. Okay. So we have like, for instance, we have a lot of people, like if the last census, when we talk about the Latino community, there's this identity issue. And most of the people in California, in the U.S., they look at, like, they hear the president, what do they see on TV? They see everybody on the border, right? And so everybody's got this identity thing that's who Latinos are, but we're not. I can tell you from the last census, 42% of the STEM workers in Contra Costa County were Latinos. Well, who would know that, right? And 39% of the business owners are Latinos. They're a big economic driver in Contra Costa County as well as California, but they're still fraught with challenges. When you talk about community colleges, to the recent influx of the Central American Latino segment, right? They have no concept of community college. They don't have that there.
Yeah, no, they
right.
have that.
And they don't have that conversation. And the challenges sometimes is like the parents are not talking about education. They're talking about, hey, you know, when you're 13 years old, you're going to go work with your tío because we need to bring some money back into the house to keep this moving. And they have multiple people, you know, in the family, so they don't really get that support at that level. Also, they got all kinds of other issues, the identity issues they got to deal with what happened in the pandemic. There's a lot of mental health issues across the board, right? The influences of the neighborhood. And like when we talk about what we have to do, you know, to inspire these young kids, they need to know that they belong, that they're worth something. And you got to let them know that, hey, you know, I was where you're at, and I'm going to help you get to your next step. Don't give up. You got to be persistent. Don't give up, right?
Now, yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, and even I know that DVC and in general, all college, Contra Costa College, you know, from Medanos, Contra Costa College, DVC, las Positas too, right?
No,
Positas is other.
We have our centers in San Ramon, and
exactly.
in Brentwood, right?
Brentwood, yeah. So all this college has programs that support low-income students, right? Even Hispanic service institutions have these programs that will help the students go through, you know, try to understand better the process and go through the courses. But what else? What else can we do?
You know, the key is to try to understand where we are. Okay, so if you take a look at where we are in California and across the board, 46% of the students that after 1 year, 40%, they drop out of community college. Man, that's a big number.
Yeah.
Right? That's a nationwide issue. 32% drop out when they go to the 4-year institutions. 32%. Okay. And the interesting thing is about the funding. We at the community colleges get about $11,000 per year per student, FTES. If you were in the K-12s, they give you $17,000. If you were CSU, $22,000. If you were in the UCs, $34,000. So we get the smallest piece of that little pie, but we have to try to provide as many of the services that all these students need, okay, compared to everybody else. Plus, they restrict us with this thing called the 50% rule, which means that we have to make sure we spend our money accordingly. So, and the big thing for the students, Latino students, Black students, those that have a lot of issues, is equity. Because as they're getting into college, sometimes they're not academically prepared. That's a big problem in California, right? They don't have access to a fast internet, or a computer. You see a lot of kids, they're doing their work on the phone, or they're borrowing their mom's phone.
But this is where the Hispanic service institutions, organizations,
they come
plays a big role, right? Where they can go to a place where they can.
So these organizations come in to mentor these kids, to talk with them, you know, to sit down and provide that additional safety net, because kids need to feel that they belong, right? So, and the thing is, it's about equity. I'm going to give you an example.
Okay,
real quick. All right, here's an example.
Let's do it.
A lot of people don't know what equity means. Okay, so say for instance you're a student and you want to go to community college and you're pretty good academically. Okay, so you know, here's the stuff you're going to learn. You're going to learn all this. They're going to teach you all that. And you're doing good, and you're going to graduate. Guess what? The average time for somebody to graduate from community college, almost 6.5 years. That's a long time. People don't expect to take 6.5 years. So that's going to lead to some dropouts. Well, now, okay, you got students, kids with equity problems. What does that mean? Well, that means that they came from a single parent household. They have housing insecurities. Are we going to get kicked out? Where are we going to live? They have income insecurities. I don't know if we're going to have enough money for food, right? They have food insecurities, right? They have insecurities with their identity. They don't have anybody that's went to college in their household. They're the first one. So what happens in that case? Excuse me, I'm going to drop this out. So those are the holes in their life, and those are the inequities in their life. So let's see, I'm going to try to do this real quick. Okay. So now they're going to learn, they're going to try to learn too. You're going to give them those classes. So what happens with those holes? Mira.
Yeah,
right? It drops out. They don't learn at the same rate. They feel uncomfortable. They feel like they can't do it. And guess what's happening at home? The challenges that they have at home as the parents are, well, when are you going to finish? Right? You've been here a long time.
Yeah. You need to produce.
They get the pressure to produce at home because their parents are expecting them to help the household. Right? And so our nonprofits, our support staffs, we go in there and you know what? And there's a revival going on where we're talking to the parents early. You can't talk to the parents when the kids are in 10th grade. Yeah. You got to talk to the parents when they're in elementary school. Demystify education. Tell them, hey, you can do it. It's not about the money. You know what? It's about student success. We don't want them to drop out. We want them to go forward to be contributing members of our community, right? And so it's important for me as I'm working with all these different organizations to come up with innovative ideas and how to bridge that gap for these kids.
But also, don't you think that, yeah, I mean, I'm agree with you that there's gaps and there's issues with equity and all sort of problems that these kids face day to day, right? Some of these kids even, and I remember the number, but we talk about it, they live in their home, they live in their cars, right? They don't even have a place to live. But as an educational system, right, as a way that now classes are taught, don't you think there should be also an adjustment and a changing on that area as well?
Yeah, actually,
to understand better, to be able to provide, another way of education, alternative ways, or maybe getting ready to start making money on the first year or 6 months. I don't know.
I would tell you, you're exactly right. And the great thing about community colleges, our community colleges in our district, we're very innovative. We've got some committed professors, okay? And we sit down and talk to the students about what their issues are. We sit down and, like some people say, they have kids. Well, we have childcare, free childcare. Okay, they got these food insecurities. Hey, you know what? We got food pantries for you, right? They got some transportation issues. We go here and work through that, right? When we sit down and talk about the academics, I can tell you that since the pandemic, 50% of the classes are online now.
Yeah.
Right. But the kids need to go ahead and have access to the internet. So we at the college is providing with the laptop and the hotspots. So that's not going to be an issue for them. Where our job is to figure out what we can do to help them and bring them in with other cohorts. So, so coming in, beyond that, we have this new internship program, right? Where we have funding. So we're going to ask employers, if you invest in our students and bring them in as an intern, we'll pay you all the money that you spent for the intern. Right? So who wouldn't want to do that, right?
Yeah.
And then what we do, and we have the programs at the colleges. We have the Puente program, which is the most successful Latino program. We got the Emojo program for Black students, right? And guess what? They culturally get them aligned, and then they take them to the colleges, UC Davis, to the historically Black colleges, to UC Berkeley, so they can see themselves in the future, so they can see that success is attainable. And what we do with these advisors and these other young students, all right, is we rally around these kids because they become our family. And that's what it's got to be at the college. The college has to be a place where they feel like they're coming home. And we want them to know this is your campus. It belongs to you. That's what we do.
Yeah, and I mean, we're talking about two very distinct populations, which are kids coming out to high school looking for college, right? And there's another big population. It's like people already that wants to continue education, right? That maybe they're in the 30s, 40s, and they find barriers to keep moving up in whatever they're doing, and they need to find a place to get education.
I'm glad you said that, because you know what? Not our community college is not just for the young students coming out. We have a lot of continuous education courses, vocational courses for these people that went into the workforce that want to come back and get retrained, or maybe they change their mind on the kind of work they're doing and they want to do something different. We have a lot of those classes that we offer them. We partner with the trades institutions for those students that want to get into the trades, right, by offering pre-apprenticeships. So we're there for them. Whatever their needs are, we find out, and we find a way to help them. That's our job, is to find a way to help them.
I like that, find a way to help them, right? How can we help them? And I think it's duty that everybody needs to start thinking about it, because at the end of the day, we're investing in the ones that are coming next, right? As a company, right? We as a company, in the company that I work, we're always looking for talent, right? Things that I noticed, though, when we're looking for talent, is that sometimes the how can I say this? The technical knowledge is there, but we're lacking into leadership. We're lacking into empathy. We're lacking into work culture, into work ethic,
I'm glad that you said that, because one of the big things that we offer at college is other programs so students can develop their leadership skills, their soft skills. But you know what?
Soft skills.
But you got to try to understand the composition of college. 70%, almost 70% of the students are part-timers, and they're working.
It's true.
So they can't take advantage of all these programs
Yeah.
that, if they did, will help them, right? 67%, and it takes them a long time to do that. And the problem is, if they're not taking classes full-time, they're not going to get all that federal aid.
Yeah.
Here you go. So now
Well,
they create another problem, right? And you're right. And when we talk about leadership, that's why we're working with other outside partners. And the whole thing is to partner in the community to see how they can partner with this to offer these kind of things to different segments of the communities that they know.
Mhm.
And that's the key. They know their communities better than we know their communities. And let's let them be the experts to help those communities they know.
Fernando, I know that you and me can go and talk forever. We always, whenever we're together, we're very passionate about things that we're.
But I want to say one thing about our workforce, okay?
Yes.
And what we're going on. This is like a stat that most people don't know. About 39% of the school children in Contra Costa County are Latino. Okay? That's 39%.
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot of kids, right? 39%. So guess what? So as you think about higher education, and you think about the future workforce, we don't want them to be a labor force. We want them to be an educated workforce, so they can go ahead and be the next mayors, the next Douglas Lamazetta at the TV station, the next CEOs, owners of companies, and drive changes in their community. And they will, and they're going to do it because people like you, people like me, people like our other friends here, are vested in them for their success.
Oh, yeah.
It's their turn. We're going to turn over the baton, and they're going to lead the world. I'm looking forward to that.
And again, it gets back with the topic of today's show, which is, there's resources, there's organizations that are, they're drive by individuals that really love what they do and have a commitment with their communities, right? I think in our Spanish community, Latino community, we have big opportunities as a parents, as a colleagues, in terms of motivate each other to take that course, right? I'll help you do
Exactly.
that. Like employers to, okay, I'll pay half of your tuition for whatever certification you need, right? Like, we need to get more knowledge to be able to, as you say, go to the next level. We know that college or going to 4 years university, it's insanely expensive. I have my kids going to college, and I was like about to sell one of my kidney, right? For me to pay for that. But thank God I can do it. But what about kids that can't, right? Families that can't do that, and they maybe not going to be able to get all the funds that they need to get an education. So we need to find, as a community, as a state, as a country, better ways to support our younger students to really get the education they need. It works in the favor of everybody, right? It's not only for them. We're getting great professionals. Guess what? Right? I'm going to get great people to work in my company or to build this country, right? To keep building.
Yes.
So Fernando, I know, again, you got to come back because we have a lot to talk.
All the time.
You got to come back. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and to really discuss these topics. And there's a lot to talk. There's never ending, right? There's never ending.
It's about commitment and passion for what you believe and what you want to do. And you know what? We have a lot of people in this country, okay, that we can look to as role models. Hopefully we will be the future role models for our kids. Maybe they'll listen to us once in a while, you know. But if you just have one child,
makes a big difference.
One family, man, that makes a big difference, because they're going to be talking to their cousins and their aunts and their uncles. And next thing you know, they all want to get involved, right? And that's what you want to do. You want to build that whole fire in that family to succeed, and you help them succeed. Exactly. That's what it's about.
Exactly. Fernando, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Okay. Until next time. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we go now with a little pausa y venimos con el final del programa. Bueno, regresamos ya al final del show. ¡Wow! Impresionante, en realidad. Este tipo de entrevistas me motivan a seguir haciendo esto, porque estamos brindando información de calidad a nuestra comunidad. Hay mucho más profesionales como Fernando, como Leonor, organizaciones como la que hemos presentado el día de hoy, que constantemente están brindando recursos para las personas que lo necesitan, ¿no? Y necesitamos medios como estos que realmente pues dejen de lado un poquito el rating y de lo que vende, y mostremos realmente la información que se necesita, porque necesitamos que nuestras comunidades empiecen continúen creciendo, pero no que crezcan no solo en cantidad, sino también en volumen, en calidad, ¿no? Y para eso necesitamos educación, para eso necesitamos recursos, necesitamos igualdad, necesitamos diversidad, necesitamos ser partes, otra vez, siempre lo digo, necesitamos ser parte de la solución y no del problema. Tenemos que ya de una vez por todas levantarnos de una manera inteligente y participar, ¿no? Ser voluntarios, aprender, colaborar, poder inspirar a nuestro vecino a que pueda hacer algo mejor. Es tiempo de eliminar la competencia entre nosotros, y que del otro lado, de la otra manera de pensar, es que todos nos juntemos, trabajemos juntos en un futuro mejor. ¿Cómo? Educándonos, participándonos cívicamente, haciendo las cosas bien, trabajando fuerte y compartiendo nuestras oportunidades. Así es que ha sido un programa increíble, me encantó. Muchas gracias por estar el día de hoy con nosotros. Y nos vemos como siempre el próximo jueves. Este programa también se repite martes y miércoles y viernes, me parece, y hasta domingo en todo Contra Costa. Y nos vemos ya el próximo jueves, como siempre, a las 6 de la tarde, con más información y recursos para ustedes. Muchas gracias.